grade, man, that I gave the wide receivers, I think the wide receivers did a tremendous job this game. They were available for Pat all game, kind of getting open. I love they said they was going to simplify some of the things that we do, okay? And part of that is also the instruction of what it is that we're asking those guys to achieve on each and every play, on each and every route. And so as far as if somebody has a clear understanding what their role is, it makes it all that much easier because guys get to play faster. You know where they're going to be. You know, I talk about Al Saunders used to tell us all the time, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And so what I was seeing, at least yesterday, in a lot of some of the routes, guys were at the spots they were supposed to be. Everything looked pretty good. And so when I went back over the film, guys were open. Pat was seeing them. But it made it such a clear picture for him to throw the football. Now, obviously, there's things that we still need to continue to work on, right? But it is not as big of an issue like it was in the past few weeks. Okay. And so obviously we talk about the MVS thing. Okay. Him dropping that football. And, that's one of those things that he got the boos from the crowd. I was seeing people on Twitter just talking about, why are we letting this guy play? Why is he getting reps out here? I'm tired of seeing MV, what they call him, and, things of like that. And so my thing is this, though, because I'm going to go to bat for MVS. Because what I see as a coach, and I think what they see also too from the coaching staff, is sometimes MVS does things that doesn't actually show up on the stat sheet. All right. And what I mean by that is MVS, if you look at this first series, he's busting his tail to get down and block for guys. I remember I was saying, a few weeks ago, how I just hated watching wide receivers not block for their running backs and not blocking for the other guys that's catching the football. That's the one thing MVS is doing. He understands as far as like safety came down in the box, and I'll kind of show that too. MVS picks him up. He sees this thing called. So sometimes when the safety comes down, MVS realizes that now he didn't go to the corner that he's supposed to be blocking. He goes to the most dangerous man. Sometimes that's an understanding that a younger guy may not have. MVS is a much better blocker than Rashid Rice. He's a much better blocker than Sky Moore and all the other receivers that's out there. Okay, he just is. Okay, just kind of going the film over the time. That's one thing that he kind of gives. Okay, that's the knowledge that he has. And I hear people talk all the time. Well, these guys don't understand some of these concepts. I don't think that's what it is. I think part of it is where you are. I think MVS is scared to make a play. He's scared to make a mistake, and so that puts him in a really strange place to be out there on the field. But his value, which hasn't really been in the passing game, because we haven't really got that out of him. He hadn't been stretching the defense, which we brought him in and paid him all that money to do. Some of the things I think he's starting to pick his game up in is the little things as far as going and making blocks, trying to get guys open, doing that. Okay, he's a good decoy and run it, but sometimes teams know he ain't gonna get the football, right? But I think it's why he gets some of the reps that he gets. Because of what he contributes in the running game, or contributes when guys catch the football running them. All right. Which is huge. That's big. That's big. A lot of people don't understand it. I can appreciate it as being a blocking tight end who also, to my stats, I didn't catch a whole lot of footballs, but daggone it, when you look at the guys that score points, guys that was catching football, you knew what my contribution was. Like, you couldn't take that away. There's no way you could erase any of those things that I did, even though I didn't have the 90 balls a year, even 50 or 40 balls a year. I didn't have that. But what I did was I folded up at least 90 or 100 linebackers and defensive ends all during my time. I helped Priest and Larry and Block and all those guys, Kimball, get into the end zone. That's what I did. I bench pressed my guy to the end zone. I was bench pressing my guys out there on the field. So I have a level of respect for that because I see it. Okay. And that's not taken away from the things he's done wrong. It's not absolving him from any of the bad things. Right. But I just don't I don't agree with the whole sit him down, he shouldn't dress type of deal. Okay.
I mean, I think there is a kind of a middle ground to that, JD.
Sure.
Like, I mean, because I think last week he was he had the most snaps for our receivers. I don't know what his numbers were this year. I haven't looked at the snap counts as far as this week, and he seemed like he was out there quite a bit yesterday. And yeah, there are things that he did right, like as far as his blocking ability to block, which some of our younger guys haven't like grasped that yet. But like, as far as the drops and as far as like, yeah, there's things he can do, but maybe not have him out there the entire game. I mean, I don't know. I just feel he's out there way too much. And I'm not saying to cut him. There's people who are out there saying cut him, put him on screen right now.
I don't want to see him anymore. Yeah,
it's dumb. Look, yeah, that's dumb.
So in the series of what you're bringing out here, okay, and it's all particular on what plays you actually run it. Okay, if you're not the primary guy and you are just kind of like a decoy, then it's not a big issue. So I put it on the coaches to make that balance, and I agree with you. Maybe he doesn't need to be out there doing the most reps of everybody, like you said last week. You're completely arguable, like you can argue that point, no doubt about it. But he is a contributor. He needs to contribute. And to be honest with you, if I'm paying a sucker $11 million, however much he's getting paid, $11 million, whatever it is, okay, he's getting paid. I'm not going to sit you over here on this bench, being the highest paid bench warmer either. You're going to find something to do. I'm going to find you something. I don't care. So that's the way I look at it. And I'm sure they're looking at that too. And so we need to understand that he's got a role in this offense. Look, there's going to be times that he's going to come up and catch some footballs for us. And hopefully he makes that contribution when his name is called in the game. That's why it would have been okay if he caught that ball yesterday and go hit his head on the goalpost. Naysayers, people still would have been like, "Hey, man, you know what? He still don't need to get the reps that he's getting, right?" But we know we're limited in some of the things that we're doing. But that's why I see our offense change when we look at the first series. When we show these plays, this is what you're going to be able to see. This is exactly what our offense should be when we're going forward. Okay, going into the playoffs, because we still have people that think we're going to get beat in the first round, and that's all. This team is not. We're third in the AFC. Third, Marcus.
Yeah, you would have guessed. You wouldn't guess it based on kind of how lethargic we've been offensively for the last pretty much the entire season, and based on the way a lot of fans are talking about.
Well, yeah, but hello, have they been watching our defense?
Yeah.
So the thing is, in my head, if our offense just says, "Look, we just scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal, we're gonna be good. We win the game."
Yep.
I mean, our defense. I'm sure they probably tell them that, like, "Look, you do that, you'll take care of it." I remember when I heard Shannon Sharp and Ray Lewis talking. And Ray said, "Look, we just told the offense, all y'all need to do," or I think Sharp, one of them was talking, "all we need to do is score 2 touchdowns, whatever. Defense going to take care of the rest of it."
And that's pretty much what Mahomes said post game with the sideline reporter. But she was asking pretty much about the game and stuff, and he was like, like with the way our defense is, all we need to do is we just need to get points up. He didn't say I don't think he gave a number. We just need to get points.
That's all they need to do. That's it. That's all they need to do. You don't have to go play hero ball. All we're looking to get is at least 3 touchdowns and a field goal. We should win. Our defense should hold up. Okay, they should be able to hold up. And so if we keep that philosophy going, we're gonna be all right. We could get 4 touchdowns, but don't think that you had to score 28-35. I think that's out the window with what we have right now offensively. I mean, honestly, not saying that we can't do it, not saying we don't have it in us. We do. We just got to get better at, obviously, third downs, okay, and red zone.
Yep.
You got to get better at that.
Yep.
So that's got to be a point of emphasis these next couple of years going in, right? That's what it's got to be. So let me go back to the grading of the wide receivers real quick, okay? So we know Rashid Rice was phenomenal, okay? He's our star. We see him up here at the wide receiver grade. We start doing that, stretching the field with somebody like him, changes things for us also. See, that's why I don't understand why we haven't been doing more of that with him either. Okay? Yeah, we brought MVS in, and Justin Wiles can do those things, but Rashid Rice can do it all.
Oh, yeah.
So we need to expand his role on doing some of those. That just makes sense to me. Yeah, and everybody's been talking about Justin Ross, right? What's Justin Ross? What are you going to do? Yeah, like, I knew I was going to get a smile from you, Marcus. I knew I was going to get a smile. You know,
Hey,
but
he came in a few red zone reps yesterday. I thought there was one time where I thought Mahomes was looking his way, and then I think he threw in the dirt. But
he can come and get some reps. Keep using him too, right? Look, I'm looking to shock defenses. Okay, I want everybody to believe that we are a sitting duck. You know, we don't have anything in us, and then we come out there, man, we hit you over the head with some new guys. Richie James is another one.
Yep.
Did a phenomenal job yesterday, even with the return. Even though he had the one in the back, you know, at the red zone, you know, at the goal line, he looked like he had a chance at opportunity.
Yeah.
Now he's got to know who's blocking for him because they got to do a much better job at that. But he got to let that one go. And I think he kind of got on Twitter and was talking about it. Look, don't go on, don't explain yourself, because regardless of what you say, you know, people ain't gonna like it anyway. But he's been doing a phenomenal job, man, in the return game for us. Okay, so I gave our wide receivers, man, I gave them a B. Gave these jokers a B, man. They did a good job for us. Justin Watson, that deep ball, good job, man, catching that. You know,
I want to ask you the drop that Justin Watson had yesterday, where it was kind of a high ball that Mahomes threw to him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, the one where you could say it was a drop and he had his hands on it. Would you? Because people were saying, I think a lot of people were dogging MVS for him dropping the one pass. It was kind of a drag route. Mahomes kind of threw it slightly behind him. The one where MVS was like, you know, pretty much motioning that you threw it behind me a little bit. Someone was saying about the next drive was where he threw the ball to Justin Watson, and it kind of like went. It was a little high for him. It was like the post route that Romo said, "Oh yeah, you see this play here? That's pretty much what they used to run with Tyreek Hill." Would you consider that a drop? And also, would you consider MVS's on the deep ball, where the ball slightly it kind of went through his hands, but MVS kind of laid out for it? We didn't connect on it. Do you consider those two drops or no?
If it hit your hands, yeah. If it's like one of those things that you're diving out of reach, it's kind of that in between, you know, because it's going to be a tough catch. Like you realize, like, man, it's going to be a tough catch for anybody to make. I don't know if you consider that a drop. I don't know, man. You know, we've always, as receivers, if it hit your hands, man, you're supposed to catch it. But if you know if it's a tough catch, man, and you're giving it your all, and it's just out of your reach, and you're trying everything, I don't know if it's necessarily a drop, right? Yeah. Could the ball been placed in a better position? Sure. Is it too high? Yeah, absolutely. Does it sell on the quarterback? Sure. If it's a better ball, does he catch it? Right? That's what you have to think. Like, what's the vicinity? Does he have to change his trajectory getting the football? How difficult is it for him to make that catch? And so I think it goes into the realm of probability on particular things. But I gave the wide receivers, man. I gave him a B. I gave him a B. Okay.
I gotta say, if we're paying MVS $11 million for his blocking ability, then you should have been paid. You should have paid a lot more than that.
Sure, they weren't even paying tight ends those catching balls like that $11 million back then when I was playing.
I know.
So,
I know.
But my thing is that's you know, I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to justify the $11 million for what he's getting paid for. All I'm saying is that MVS does have a role in what some of the things that we do. Right?
Sure, for sure.
So we can't disregard a little bit of his role. Okay, we can't diminish that. Not saying he should be playing 60 snaps. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But does he have a role here in this offense? Sure, he does.
Yep.
Absolutely. And even if that's still showing some of the young guys on how you should do it, because I'm sure they give him some attaboys in the film room, which I was too. I'm like, oh, okay, let's check this out.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.